There are times when we get a situation where we define functions that whose variables we do not know ahead of time. So we can say some function equals function, and I suppose we might want to conveniently get a total of, say, some arguments that we pass. Perhaps this is a function that we can use like this. Some function and then 2, 3, right? And then we try to call it in our code here. Right now it does nothing. So if I can transplant this and put it in here, function will do nothing. It's not even defined. JavaScript provides an object called arguments. And arguments, we could loop through the arguments like so. I less than arguments dot length. Then we add that over there. Total plus equals arguments of I. And finally, we return some total. When we refresh, we should get something. Okay, right now we are not getting anything, but let's try it off. Fresh. 1, 2. There you are. I might decide to add a third argument or a fourth argument. So that fine folk is how we counter or do something with arguments that we do not know ahead of time. Let's experiment with a few other use cases here. I suppose we wanted to subtract or to maybe raise the cases of a bunch of names. Cases of some random list of names. And we can say and we could design a function that says raise cases, and we don't know ahead of time the number of names, but what we do know is we have to return something, right? So we will loop through arguments. And in this loop, we shall push to ret an uppercase version of a name, and we can return that new array. And let's try to use this function by logging it, of course. We can clear the previous ones. Console.clear. And we can say raise cases and pass in names. Names was defined ahead of time here. So when we refresh our page, slide syntax error at 15, let's fix that shortly. So at 15. Make it anonymous function and then we refresh. So to uppercase is not a function. Okay, 1 second. Let's pass on names like that. That's arguments, sorry about that. Okay, then when we refresh, there we are, to uppercase. Well, if you want to get the fast one, maybe we could do something like splitting it up or only focusing on the first item and then adding the splice. So we could do something like that. We splice from 1 onwards to the length of that item. So when we refresh, okay, splice is not a function. I suppose we could just split it and splice from the first to whatever was split ahead of time. Get its length. Okay, and then we rejoin it. So using that technique, we could do something nice here. Around here, I'll just copy this code down here and just replace argument with a split. And then we can have a splice. Another, we duplicate this, put it here. Okay, so our code looks a bit neater. Let's push it here. So we can do something like that. So I suppose this does what we expect it to do. Where's the case? Yep, kind of does it. So we have vector turning, but we need to join it. So at the end of this splice, we join and we refresh. Voila! There we raise the cases of our so-called names, and we don't need to call that because it's not an argument. Okay, thank you.